My girlfriend whispered something to me when she thought I was asleep. Because of my job, I always wake up way earlier than my girlfriend, literally 2 hours earlier. So I also have to go to bed way earlier than her to get enough sleep. Yesterday evening when I went to bed, I couldn't really sleep because I had an important event today at work that made me nervous. So I was still awake when my girlfriend went to bed. I was really hot, yes, even during winter, so I slept without my blanket. I thought about talking to her. Something told me to keep my eyes closed, and I did. She took the blanket and covered me with it. Then she kissed me on the forehead, and then she said it. She whispered it. She said every single word. Some people might say it's too cheesy, but I don't, and I can remember every single word. I love you. I love you so much. I love you more than anything in the world. I love you more than words can express. You make me laugh. You make me happy. You make me feel loved. I've never liked the idea of getting married, but you changed my mind. I want to stay with you forever. I'd rather die than live without you. My life isn't complete if you're not in it.
Wow.
I love you.
Why didn't she say that when he was awake?
Then she kissed my forehead again, and I tried my best not to let her know I was awake, which was hard because I teared up. After that, she went back to her side of the bed and laid down. I only then opened my eyes. I laid there for at least a half an hour until she started snoring and I knew she was asleep. I got up, went to the bathroom, and cried my eyes out.
Aww. Why are you guys just being secretive?
This was the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. I've never felt so much love in my life. After many years of bullying, my self-confidence was so destroyed that I didn't know if I deserved to be loved, let alone that anyone could love me like that. What made it even more special was the fact that my girlfriend had a bad past and had a lot of trouble showing her feelings on the outside. Even with me, she had a hard time being vulnerable sometimes. And the fact that she said this when she thought I couldn't hear her means that what she said came from her heart.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's so
That was
cute.
really cute.
Top comment. Tell her you heard. Marry her. It's gotta happen. It's absolutely beautiful.
Wow, it is beautiful.
Am I in the wrong for refusing to honor my boyfriend's family's tradition? My boyfriend Eric, 29, and I, 27 female, have been dating for 3 years. For context, I've met his family and they're very friendly. We don't meet them very often because they live in my boyfriend's home country. I don't want to reveal the country names either for privacy reasons, but my boyfriend and I are of different nationalities and we both work in my country. The conflict happened during our last visit last weekend. We've been looking up houses to move in together and engagement rings. While we were having dinner, we mentioned this to his family as it's a big step in our relationship. His parents and brothers expressed their happiness for us, but then out of nowhere, his younger sister-in-law asked, "So, is she going to take the test?" I asked, "What test?" In summary, my boyfriend's family has this tradition where the future mother-in-law tests the daughters-in-law to see if they're good enough for her sons. Apparently, his mother and aunts went through the same test. The test includes how clean they can keep a home, how well they can cook, their manners, etc. Basically life skills most people learn from childhood. I found it ridiculous because 1, if I'm good enough for my boyfriend, then he should be the one deciding it. And 2, I don't fit in their targeted category. In his mom's words, you can't be a good stay-at-home wife and a stay-at-home mom if you can't be a good homemaker, and she wants to make sure of that. To be clear, his mom and all 3 of his brothers' wives are stay-at-home moms, and although I respect their choice, I'm not quitting my career and I did not under any circumstances make my boyfriend think that I could compromise on that. I hate house chores and I would rather buy homemaking gadgets and hire staff no matter what the cost. I told my boyfriend's mom all of this and it caused an argument that eventually ruined dinner and an extension our visit. My boyfriend doesn't care whether I'm a working wife or a stay-at-home wife, but he thinks that I should have just done the test because it's just a test, and it's not like they would reject me if I failed. He thinks it's a fun tradition that everyone was looking forward to and I should have gone along with it anyways. Am I in the wrong for telling my sister that she's fat? I grew up in a very abusive household. I graduated high school at 17 so I could move out the day I grabbed my diploma. I couched her for a couple months until I turned 18 and got my first apartment at 18 years old with my boyfriend. We worked minimum wage jobs, working 60 plus hours a week so my boyfriend and I could afford rent. When we moved in, we only had a bed, a small 30-inch TV, my boyfriend's Xbox, and toiletries. Nothing else. Over the next 2 years, we began saving up money to get our first car. After getting a car, we applied to a job that paid more for fewer hours. We get raises every few months and profit sharing every quarter. We slowly began to update our apartment. Now, the only thing we were missing was a couch. The couch was donated to us by our apartment. Someone got evicted from their unit and left everything in there. The office, knowing that we don't have a couch yet, gave us the couch. After all of the upgrades, we decided to start hosting D&D at our house. Just me, my boyfriend, the DM, my brother-in-law, and my sister who weighs a whopping 375 pounds. My sister couldn't fit into any of our chairs, so she sat on the couch. We originally didn't have a problem with this until we noticed that our couch began to divot in the middle, and the bar that held the futon together underneath started to bend. My boyfriend and I agreed that we buy a chair that's built for her weight. The chair just came in, and we had D&D on Friday. We showed the chair to my sister, hoping that she would be grateful. We paid over $100 for this. We're not rich, so we had to dip into our savings to pay for this. My sister got mad at us, accusing us of calling her fat. We tried to calm her down, but trying to calm her down just made her scream more. My brother-in-law was telling us to look at what we started. I have to go home to this. You got this couch for free, just buy another one, etc. With my sister screaming in one ear and my brother-in-law talking in the other, I lost it. I said, everyone STFU, you are completely right. Your fat ass is breaking our couch. You can lose weight easily but choose to stay fat, slob. This is a problem that you can literally run from, but you chose to be fat and collect taxpayers' money to stay at home and eat more and gain more weight. Until you lose under 250 pounds, you're not allowed on our couch again. I admit this was a bit much, and I should have better controlled my feelings. I feel bad for saying what I said on Friday, but it felt good to finally say it. Last night, my brother-in-law was texting me saying that my bullying caused her to have a mental breakdown and that I should apologize. I told him that I'd apologize when she apologizes for bending our couch. So, am I in the wrong here?
Storytime about how my boyfriend was hiding his 2-year relationship from me. So a little background information, I was 18 and a senior in high school. And in the middle of the school year, I had a new student in my 4th period class who we're going to call Jose, and he was 17 years old and in 11th grade. Now, he wasn't technically new because I'd seen him around school and everything like that. But up until this point, neither of us knew that each other existed. So he gets introduced to the class, blah, blah, blah. He sits in the very back of the room. And I knew that this man was going to be my boyfriend. So when I got home that day, I was texting my friend about him. Thankfully, she gave me his Snapchat. Fast forward, we're talking and elevators get brought up. Now, in my school, you are not allowed to use the elevators unless you're injured or for some other reason. Well, he was talking about how he always used the elevators and nobody really cared. So I meet him at the elevator the next day and blah, blah, blah. We start flirting. And this led to him and I being super close. Like, we would FaceTime every day. We would always sit together at lunch, in class. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how my boyfriend was hiding his 2-year relationship from me. So like I said, every day after that, him and I were pretty much inseparable. We would FaceTime literally 24/7. We would always sit together during lunch, during class. Well, the one day I'm sitting in my homeroom and he comes in and he asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course I said yes. So fast forward to Halloween, my family was handing out candy and he was going trick-or-treating with his family because he had younger siblings. And this is where our families were supposed to meet, but he didn't end up coming to my neighborhood, which I was super happy about. Well, then fast forward to my birthday. Our families were supposed to meet again, but it didn't end up happening again. And I wasn't really sure if this was the reason why things got weird between him and I. The one night I was over at my friend's house and Jose's on FaceTime with me. And I was talking about how I could pick him up and him and I could hang out. And he literally just didn't even say anything. So I was like, okay, is that a no? So then he was like, I don't know, I might be busy, blah, 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 like for part 3. Part 3 about how my boyfriend was hiding his 2-year relationship from me. So like I said, him and I are on FaceTime. I'm asking him if he wants to hang out, and he's being super weird about it, being super standoffish. Well, fast forward a little bit, he seemed like he wasn't interested in me anymore, and it really hurt my feelings, obviously. So he didn't talk to me the rest of the day, and then he texted me the next day. And he was telling me how different we are and how we barely have anything in common and how we rushed into things. Pretty much a bunch of shitty excuses as to why he thinks that we should break up. Well, after that, him and I don't speak for a few days, and then I had a fake account on Instagram. And after our breakup, I viewed his story the one day. So then I look at his Instagram story, he posted a picture of another girl with a heart. And then I found her account and she had pictures of them dating back from like 2 years ago. Now, still to this day, I don't know if he was cheating on her or if they were on a break or whatever, but I also thought that it was weird that they were dating because she was 19 and he was 17.
Am I the asshole for leaving my fiance's birthday after my stepdaughter's prank? So I recently got engaged to my fiance Michael, and we don't live together but agreed to move together soon. He has a 16-year-old daughter, and I'm not gonna lie, she's quite stubborn. Her own dad struggles to get her to listen, and we're not close, which is something I know I need to work on. However, her pranks make it hard to have a good relationship with her. There is some humor to them, but sometimes she goes way too far. And my final straw was on her dad's birthday. When me and his family were having a great time until dinner. When I walked into the dining room, I saw my underwear on a hanger. Am I the asshole for leaving my fiance's birthday after my stepdaughter's prank? My stepdaughter looked at me, smiled, and said, "Oh, you forgot these last time you visited, and I didn't want you to forget them again." I was absolutely astonished, speechless even. Michael was shocked, and my in-laws and other guests, including Michael's friends, were staring at me in awkward silence. I felt humiliated. Some of them even laughed. Next thing I know, I yelled at her and was grabbing my stuff about to leave, and Michael and his daughter told me to calm down. It was just a prank. I left immediately and turned my phone off, and Michael left many text and voice messages calling me hypersensitive. He's also saying that I ruined the birthday for him and his family.